So now that we have learned how to add elements to a list, let's learn how to remove them. So here we have another clean idle window, and we have to make our lists again. So what we will do is we will use our range method. So let's create num list again, which should be range 10. So and what we will also do is make a list out of this. So we will just put it in a list call, and so now if we check num list, we have our list. So now if we want to remove the last element of this list, what we can do is we can call a method called pop. So if you say num list dot pop, what this does is removes the last element and gives you that last element back. So if I say num list dot pop, it will give me the last element, and if we check num list now, you will see that the last element is gone. So if we keep calling this function, it will keep doing this. So 8, 7, call it again 6. So you can see that it is giving me, it is traversing through the list backwards, you can say. And now if you check num list, you can see that all the elements up from 6 onwards is gone. So they have been cut off, or they have been thrown out of the list basically. So this is the exact opposite to append. So append adds an element at the end of the list, pop removes an element from the end of the list. So a quick side note here is that this pop method allows you to use the list as a stack. So imagine if you have a stack of paper. Let me get a stack of paper here somewhere. I have them here somewhere. Hold on a minute, just need to get it out. Oops. Yep, got that out. Okay. So if we have a stack of paper, so this is a stack, and you can only access the last element in here. So basically, so if I generate a stack, I'll put the first element, I'll put the second element, and I'll put the third element, and I'm stacking these papers, right? Another element. So imagine now I'm appending to the list, right? So the element is always getting added at the last of the current object. So now if I want to access the access any object, I can only get to the last element that was added. So essentially the end of the list. So now if we want to get at any object, any different other object, so first we have to remove the last element, and then we have to remove the second last element, and then we have to remove the third last element, and so on. So essentially you can see the parallel here. So the append and pop lets you use the list object as a stack, and so the stack is a data structure, and these are a bit higher or meta level concepts that you will learn later, but just to mention as an aside that this append and pop essentially implements the stack level functions or the stack style functions. But anyway, back to our discussion of removing elements from a list. So we have pop, which removes the last element of a list, and then we have remove, which basically is the exact opposite to insert. So insert allows you to put an element at a specified location. Remove lets you remove an element from a specified position. So let's take this and remove the, let's say remove the element at position 1. So now if you put print num list, you will see that the element that was at index 1, which happens to be 1 in this case, is now gone. So at index 1, and now at index 1 there is the number 2 now. So this basically changes the index of all the elements that is later than later to this number that you are removing. So, but yeah, so insert and remove, these two will allow you to randomly or add and remove elements from a list wherever you want, and append and pop basically works at the end. The append adds an element at the end of the list, and pop removes an element from the end of the list. Okay, so now we can add and remove objects from a list.